born and raised, and I still live in Los Angeles. And I'm an actress. I went to film school, and I also work at a think tank, and we focus on public policy.
I'm Lydia Denny, and I am born and raised in Washington State, and I'm a senior distance tutoring coordinator with Reading Partners Seattle. So this is my second year as an AmeriCorps member.
Awesome. So I just jump in, like, how did you find out about AmeriCorps?
Yeah, I actually found out about AmeriCorps through a college roommate who did a year of service with City Year straight out of high school. And so as I was getting ready to graduate college, she highly recommended that I look at some AmeriCorps programs. I just started looking specifically at education programs or education-related programs because that's what I was interested in. And yeah, I found Reading Partners. You know, there's programs nationwide. So if you kind of know what you're looking for, they have a pretty good search engine of like interests, skills, what state you're wanting to serve in. But I also know the AmeriCorps like recruiting team and like individual programs are really good about sending out more information if you're interested in that. So even if you don't know someone, I think it'd be pretty easy to apply and learn more about different programs.
Gotcha. So you said you already knew, you kind of narrowed it down to education. Within education, how did you find Reading Partners, and what were the, kind of other programs within that field?
I think just looking at different education programs, I applied for both. We have like indirect and direct service opportunities. So I was more interested in direct service, which is like in person working in schools with students. So when I first learned about Reading Partners and saw that job opportunity or service opportunity, I should say, and read about like their mission, I was immediately sort of drawn to Reading Partners and the work that they do.
And what about like their mission statement kind of like stood out to you?
Yeah, I think, well, like kind of like you, Sarah, I've always been interested, or like I have a love for reading myself. And so like just Reading Partners in general was kind of like an initial draw. But yeah, I think just helping students, try to get up to grade level reading before fourth grade, and serving students who might not have that opportunity. I think Reading Partners as a program, I can't speak for all of AmeriCorps, but just like very special in that, we're partnering with community members who come in and work one-on-one with students. So you're, just like a huge community. I love my tutors and my students. So getting to like kind of bring those two sides together has been really fun.
It's amazing. I remember like growing up, I was such a little book nerd, and you have to like learn very early on how to like read the book while you walk and not trip over things. And I would like, when I got a timeout, I'd take like Captain Underpants, like the book from the series that I was on, like lock myself in my room and be like, yeah, I am being punished. Like, don't bug me. But you said like the community is like a part that's really, really stood out to you. How has that been in the pandemic? I mean, so if you've been doing it for 2 years, you kind of have the before and after experience, right?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, we've had some amazing volunteers come through and like return for this online platform, which, no one's ever had experience with before. It's completely new for Reading Partners. So for them to come back and take on this challenge of learning an online platform and how to tutor and work with students virtually has been amazing. And so to just see like their dedication to Reading Partners is, super encouraging to me, at least during this challenging time for everyone.
Definitely.
In a traditional in-person setting, I'm just coaching pretty much the curriculum and how to support students during their lessons. Whereas now it's making sure tutors know how to share their screen on Zoom and know how to open Google Slides and all those types of things. But once they get it down, they're good to go and are pretty independent. I don't know, just overall, it's hard, being on a screen all day for a student.
Yeah, I can't imagine kids having to do that all day for school. I know myself, when I was a kid, I was like jumping around. I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. I did not have to go to the bathroom. I just wanted to like stand up. Yeah. What does like a basic tutor session look like? So I'm so interested, like walk me through that.
Yeah, so Reading Partners actually has its own curriculum, 3 different levels of kind of reading skills that you're focusing on, everywhere from like learning letter names and sounds to like basic phonics, up to like focusing specifically on comprehension skills. So yeah, I'm kind of in charge of sending out lesson materials for the week. Students get 2 lessons a week with their tutor or tutors. So we have about a 20-minute prep time for tutors where they'll log in, get all set up on their screen and have their materials set up. And then I'll just kind of pop into each Zoom room to see if tutors have any questions about technology or about the lesson, kind of check in on their student if they have any questions about how they can best support, you know, maybe a student does need a little bit of like a couple extra breaks during the lesson to, I've seen like jumping jacks and push-ups, like lots of different things. And then there's a start time, so the student will join, or I'll make sure that the student's logging in. And yeah, then the tutor just kind of from there takes over and starts the lesson. And I just kind of hop in and out to see if there's any questions or any other way I can support during the lesson. But yeah, that's kind of my part, and then the tutor and student part.
Gotcha. And so have you always been on kind of the management side, or did you do the tutoring as well and then kind of move on?
Yeah, my role is definitely, I would say, more of like a management side of things, since I'm managing a reading center at a school. So managing and coaching tutors, teacher communication, student and student family communication, lots of emails this year and texts, phone calls. So yeah, that's sort of my role.
Like how has the community kind of shifted and adapted, if that makes sense?
Yeah, we're finding more and more ways to kind of like make connections, or like help tutors and students make connections. I know at the end of like last school year, when we had to go virtual pretty quickly in the spring, we had tutors send us like notes that we can write on postcards to students and send them those. I know we're finding ways that tutors can buy books for their students this year, since they can't donate in person anymore. So we're like constantly trying to find ways to do that. We worked in some like social emotional learning lessons as an add-on to our curriculum. So we'll have every few lessons something focusing on like growth mindset or feelings and emotions, self-confidence. And I've seen a lot of students really enjoy that. And like, it's been kind of a nice relationship building opportunity for students and tutors.
I love the piece about like the social emotional education, because I think it's like such a wild thing that's not taught in schools traditionally. I mean, I think we're now like starting to see more attention around like mental health and mental illness, but before that it's just been kind of like, hey, it's your brain, figure it out. Like, and it's really like not that simple, and it's not as, you know, it's not necessarily as simple for everyone to kind of socialize, especially when now we're not in the same room with other people ever. So what's next for you? Like, are you going to be doing, how long can you stay with AmeriCorps? Is there a term limit?
I'd say most people do a maximum of 2 years, just because of the education award that's involved with AmeriCorps service, because you're only eligible for 2 years. But yeah, I'd love to stay in education. Not like, I don't have any specific plans quite yet. But eventually I'm thinking about going back to school to get my master's. I just want to be like super confident and sure of which field in education I want to be in. So looking to gain a little more experience before heading back.
Yeah, definitely. I hear that a lot. People who I ask about like graduate school, they say like they wish they'd taken a little bit more time to figure out what they were very like specifically interested in. And I feel like in America, at least, we have such a like a rush kind of mentality around education. Like, we don't do the gap year between high school and college. It's just like, get it done.
I mean, I think AmeriCorps, like a term of service or 2 years of service is a really great way to gain some experience. At least it has been for me. Especially if there's just something that you're interested in, or have a skill set that you'd like to use. AmeriCorps has like a very wide range of programs that you can serve in. So I think there's kind of something for everyone.
Did your time with like AmeriCorps and like reading partners specifically kind of narrow down your interests, or like did you learn something you maybe were kind of surprised you were interested in or anything like that?
Yeah, I think it's helped me like grow in and kind of expand a lot of valuable skills that can be applied to probably a lot of different things, not even just education, but like we were talking about management skills and communication skills. But yeah, I've heard from some people that the individualizing that we do and like this sort of one-on-one small group work that we do, fairly similar to special ed in some ways and aspects. So that's been one thing that I've been interested in. I've done some like shadowing of classroom teachers.
That's awesome. I don't know about you, but I tend to like overthink everything, especially when I don't have like hands-on experience in it, and it becomes like such a barrier to entry because my mind just goes off. I'm like, well, you know, you could do this or this or this, and you don't know what this is like. So having like that hands-on experience, even if it's just very brief, is like so helpful for me in terms of like feeling like I have a little bit more control or like knowledge around the situation.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one reason I came back. I mean, I had sort of decided to do a second year even before like everything shut down with COVID, just because I kept finding myself being like, oh, like I wish I would have known this, you know, before or earlier, like in this situation. Wanted to come back for a second year with all that knowledge.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me that everything would look different, but it's still been valuable information and experience. So
Yeah. And I think like what you guys like what Reading Partners is doing is just so valuable right now, because now that I mean there's that digital divide, right? And like unequal access to like Wi-Fi and different resources and you know different experiences at home, and it's creating just exacerbating this inequality. And so like the work that Reading Partners is doing in terms of like providing that help is I think it's needed more now than ever.
yeah, and I've heard that a lot from like teachers, especially just because I know it's harder for classroom teachers. It's already hard like in person to give like one-on-one attention to students. So that's one reason Reading Partners is valuable in general. But they're even like more like grateful, I guess, for Reading Partners this year, just so that students can have that one-on-one time.
It's been like Lydia, it's literally been so nice talking to you about this because I know like very little about it. I think I know a few people. It's my cousin. Oops, sorry, Peter. I think he did AmeriCorps, like teaching in classrooms. Yeah, everybody I've talked to who's done AmeriCorps has like really, really loved it. And like that year has given them a lot of insight on what they're actually interested in. Can I look into it? Can anyone look into it? Or do you have to like be coming out of college?
There's like a wide range of like people, ages, like different backgrounds. I think some programs have like a education requirement, high school diploma, some sort of like associates or bachelor's degree, but not every program has that requirement.
Lydia, it has literally been awesome kind of like hearing about your personal experience and how you guys have kind of pivoted to work in the pandemic. And for anyone who's watching this, if you're interested in serving in a year in AmeriCorps, working with Reading Partners, please check out their page. It sounds like it's a really awesome experience. And I personally am going to like look into how to be involved with tutoring. Thank you so much for like telling me all about it, because I came in with zero info and now I leave with a bunch of info.
Well, thanks, Sarah. It was so great to meet you.
It was great meeting you, Lydia. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Sarah. You too.